the keyword tools, the keyword research tools that we're going to use is going to allow us to start estimating the volume from specific keywords. So we might get a sense of how many times a person searching Google a month for just plain office desks, just plain desk chairs with swivel wheels, extra heavily padded desk chairs. So we're going to get estimates on volume, and how often or the volume of these searches is going to indicate to us how we should structure our ad groups. If there's a keyword with very, very small volume, we might not want to make a separate ad group for it. We may even not go ahead and add that as a specific keyword, depending on the goals and how we're going to structure the account. If we find themes of keywords, and a theme would be swivel chair, a theme would be extra padding, a theme would be lumbar support, things like that. A theme might be on sale. That also might be a theme. If we find themes with high volumes, those will be great indications of ad groups that we want to have dedicated to that specific themed keyword. We're also going to get a cost analysis, estimated CPC. Some of these tools that we're going to use will show us an estimate of how much each one of these search terms, each one of these keywords will cost when we receive a click. Keep in mind that these estimates are notoriously inaccurate. I've seen them be extremely I've seen live clicks in a real account be way, way more expensive than what they were estimated, and I've seen them be way, way cheaper than what these tools have estimated. And the reason why some of these keyword research tools are so inaccurate is because there are a lot of factors and live variables that go into a real account during the real auction, like your quality score, like the competitive landscape, like the time of day, the location. So there's a lot of different factors that come into play in a live auction that don't come into play or are not necessarily related to the predictions you'll get in these tools. But you'll start getting an idea of how much these keywords are costing. You'll get a sense of, are these expensive keywords, are these very competitive keywords? And we'll talk more about this later, but don't be scared off if you see a very expensive keyword. It's not Larry Page and Sergey Brin in Google headquarters deciding that desk chairs should cost $7 a click. And I'm not saying it will, but it might. You know, there are keywords that cost way, way more, keywords that cost less, but let's just say that desk chairs cost $7 a click. It's not the people in Google deciding that arbitrarily. It's the market. It's the other advertisers that are bidding on the keyword desk chairs have decided, and they figured out that it's worth it for them to pay up to $7 a click to get a customer to their site where they sell desk chairs. So if you're competing with a similar product in a similar space, most likely, if everything else is equal, if you have a good website and you have a good sales team and you have a good sales funnel, then it is most likely going to be worth it also for you to get in on that auction, even if it looks expensive from the outset. So we'll talk more about analyzing bids and understanding a profitable bidding strategy for you, but don't be scared away if you see high cost per click. Usually high cost per click keywords mean they're really good keywords. And we're going to start understanding from the keyword research stage, like we spoke about, understanding how people search for our products and services, those specific terms that we didn't think of, different ways that people are using. How are people typing things in? Are they saying buy online desk chairs or desk chairs online for sale? Different variations. We're going to start getting a sense of that. Tools to use during the keyword research stage. Out of all the three stages, the tools aspect is the most relevant and the most important for keyword research. The tools you use are going to make a huge difference. This is the foundation. Your research is the foundation of the steps to come. It's the foundation of the success of your account. So use your tools wisely, use your tools well, and in the next chapter we're going to actually go into some of these tools and talk about keyword research in more detail. But the tools to use are going to be the Google Keyword Planner, a fantastic tool, probably the best, probably the most accurate. Google Suggestions. So when you start typing in a query to the Google search box, you see a drop-down menu of autocomplete suggestions. That is a gold mine of keyword research ideas, Google-related searches. If I do a search on Google, at the bottom of the page, below the ads, below the organic results, and then below, which has sometimes the second round of ads, there are Google-related searches, another gold mine for keyword research. Then there are a lot of external tools. My personal favorite, the one that we use the most heavily in our agency, is SEMrush. There's a free version that will give you some data, but the paid version has a lot more. And if you're really going to be serious about your AdWords, I recommend getting a subscription to SEMrush. There's SpyFu, Keyword Spy, also similar ideas. They'll give you a competitive landscape. They give you volume estimates. They give you historical ad data for your competitors. We're going to go into SEMrush soon, so keep an eye out for that. And the most interesting and the most underutilized is Ask People. If you're advertising for office chairs or office accessories or running shoes or Bluetooth speakers or SLR cameras or whiteboard markers, whatever it is, call up your mother, call up your friends, call up your children, call up your coworkers, knock on the neighbor's door, and literally ask them, you're going to the internet to buy a whiteboard marker, to buy a guitar case, to look for AdWords instructional videos. Go to Google and type it in and watch what they type in. Every single person is going to look for something in a different and unique way, and there's no better way to launch and get your creative juices flowing than by literally asking different people how they would search and how they would enter in their query into the Google search box. We use it, it's time consuming, it's difficult, it's annoying to a lot of people, but do it because it's very, very effective and you will get a lot of great ideas that even these tools will not give you. So that's a really good thing to keep in mind when it comes to doing your keyword research. Let's talk about keyword planning. Once we have a strong research foundation, we understand the keywords in our industry, we understand how people are searching for our keywords. We know what's out there. We found our population. From a statistical perspective, that would be our population, and keyword planning would be now taking a sample. We want to start figuring out which keywords are going to be good for us, which keywords do we want to begin with, how do we want to launch our advertising campaigns, what do we want to spend money on at the beginning. So mapping out our keyword bidding strategy. We want to start taking a look at the keywords that we found and start figuring out what we want to spend per click on those keywords. And we're going to talk about how to figure that out, how to determine what you should be spending per click. Should you just go with the estimated first page bid, which Google will provide you, the estimated top of first page bid? We'll talk about that. But at this stage, we want to start figuring out our bidding strategies. We want to start categorizing our keywords by peripheral and target. Now, what does that mean? Target keywords like a bullseye are the most direct keywords to what you offer. For example, let's go back to Poppin. We're selling office chairs. So if somebody goes to Google and types in buy office chairs online, it's an extremely targeted keyword. The query contains the word buy. So they're indicating to us that they have a readiness to buy something. They use the word office chairs. So if they know what they want. Online, they use the word buy office chairs online. They're indicating that they're happy to buy online without going to a store and sitting in the chair first. So it's very target. But the caveat of a very targeted keyword is that it's going to be the most expensive because you're not the only company who realized that buy office chairs online is an extremely targeted and relevant keyword to the products and services you offer. And it, going down here, psychological constructs, it represents a psychological construct of your ideal target, of your ideal customer. Buy, they're willing to purchase today, they're willing to purchase or they're getting ready to purchase. Office chairs, exactly the product you offer. And online, which is I'm happy to buy online and not in store. So that's a psychological construct that represents your ideal customer, and it's a target keyword. But target keywords are going to be the most expensive. They're going to be the most saturated. They're going to be the most difficult to get in that auction. So you want to organize these keywords that you've discovered in your research stage by target and peripheral. A peripheral keyword is a keyword that is the outer rings of a bullseye. They're not necessarily indicating a customer who's ready to be a customer, but they're indicating an interest. So a peripheral keyword for Poppin is furnishing my new office. So somebody who wrote furnishing, types into Google, furnishing my new office. Now, we're not sure if he's looking to buy office chairs. We're not sure if this is a person who even be willing to buy anything in the near future. We're not sure if a person would even be willing to buy something online as opposed to some people who like to go in store and test out the chair, sit in it, see if they like the way it feels. but it's a peripheral keyword. It's very possible that that keyword will generate a customer down the road. It's unlikely that furnishing my office will lead to somebody buying an office chair today, but it could be a very good visitor to come to your site. When you think about peripheral versus target, you want to start thinking about what types of content we have, and we'll talk about that in a second. And in this stage, part of this stage is how should we start? So it's getting a sense of what our budget is, getting a sense of how long-term of a marketing plan this is, what are the goals, what are our objectives of this marketing campaign, and we're going to start getting a sense of how should we start. Should we start with target keywords? Should we start with peripheral keywords? What types of keywords from our keyword research do we want to stage? As a small framework, if this is a big budget campaign and this is a long-term campaign, you don't necessarily need to see sales right away, then I would start with a mix between peripheral and target. You want to try to get into these auctions slowly that have your target customers. They're going to be expensive. You probably won't take spot number one right away, but you want to also have a healthy combination of peripheral keywords, which will allow you to start bringing in visitors that are relevant, that will be high quality traffic for cheaper. If this is a campaign that must see immediate sales and the cost per acquisition is not as much of a concern, then you would weigh more heavily towards target keywords. If this is a campaign that is a long-term perspective and you don't want to spend a lot of money before you get good data, you definitely want to start off weighted in the area of peripheral keywords. So that's kind of what this stage of keyword planning is. Now, the goals from keyword planning is to begin understanding our competitors. We want to start getting a sense of what our competitors are using, what their volume is rather, and get a sense of how they're attracting visitors and how much they're paying. And we're going to do that by once again using things like SEMrush, the Google Keyword Planner, and we're going to start seeing the advertising footprint of the people who are advertising for the same products and services that we're offering, and which competitors are targeting the peripheral keywords, which competitors are targeting the target keywords, and inevitably we'll find a lot of them are targeting both. But we're going to understand our competitive landscape in this step, and that's a very important thing to know, who you're up against. Part of this stage, the goal is to ultimately determine what we call buyer intent. Psychological construct, peripheral target, these are all characteristics of the keyword, but the ultimate goal of defining those characteristics is buyer intent. We're all advertising to make a profit. There's no one here is watching this video without the hopes of making money from advertising. So we want to ultimately know, is this keyword representing high buyer intent or low buyer intent? Keywords like buy office chairs online now, that's a high buyer intent keyword. Keywords like